When someone carried a crate to the Humane Society building, the director thought little of it. Perhaps it contained a donation of food or bedding for the animals. But then she saw movement in the crate and her stomach dropped. Yes, a well-meaning gesture was about to turn potentially deadly. And that situation was exactly what had happened one day in July of 2017 when the Florida sun was beating down on towns and cities below. Furthermore, it was a particularly scorching period, with temperatures rising above 100 degrees Fahrenheit in places throughout the state. One such place was New Smyrna Beach, where the Southeast Volusia Humane Society, or SVHS, was going about its day-to-day business. However, perhaps no one could have predicted the upheaval that was about to happen, and it all began with good intentions. Deliveries to the SVHS were nothing unusual, moreover, so when one car pulled up at its entrance, it didn't raise any eyebrows. What was removed from the vehicle certainly did, though. The driver and a passenger had exited the car and were carrying a container between them. Specifically, the object they were holding was a storage tote, a plastic box commonly used for shipping food or goods. And it was actually the executive director of SVHS, Karen Morgan, who noticed something unusual about the scene. To wit, as the tote was brought to the door, something moved inside it. Morgan recounted the events of that day to the dodo, saying, "I looked up and saw this kitten peek his head up from between the two flaps of the tote," she added, and for some reason they were trying to push the kitten back in. But that wasn't all. There were other cats inside the tote too. The pair went on to tell the Humane Society staff that they'd rescued the stray kittens. But although they arguably meant well by bringing the young animals to the SVHS, the lack of ventilation in the container could have proved fatal for the felines. Furthermore, as Morgan explained to the dodo, it wasn't just the tote that was unsuitable for the kittens. They were on black leather or black vinyl in that car, so that's pulling heat down on top of them, she revealed. Those kittens were in direct sunlight. There was nothing protecting them at all, Morgan continued. She went on, "A staff member and myself ran outside quickly. I grabbed the tote from them and came in and opened it. And it turned out that the tote didn't contain just 1 or 2 tiny kittens, but 9 of them. What's more, they were in trouble." So in trying to save the kittens, the Good Samaritans had actually almost killed them. The tiny feline situation certainly wasn't helped by the fact that the tote had no air holes in it either. And Morgan revealed to the dodo that the cats had probably spent an hour in there. "It's really meant for shipping. It's not meant for anything that's alive," she explained to the website. When Morgan picked up one of the little kittens, moreover, the heat of it shocked her. In fact, Morgan would go on to compare the feline's body temperatures to that of the warmth of a Coke can left in the front seat of your car in the hot sun. "One of them had his little tongue hanging out," Morgan added. "He was panting in my hands and I thought he was going to lose consciousness." At that point, the staff realized just how serious the situation had become. 9 tiny lives hung in the balance. Time was therefore of the essence, and so the Humane Society staff dashed over to help the kittens. "We all went into emergency mode," Morgan recalled to the dodo. "We brought in wet towels, water, and milk, anything that might be interested in to get some fluids back into them. But to avoid further problems stemming from rapid changes in temperature, SVHS staff had to be very careful. Indeed, if the kitten's body heat dropped too rapidly, they could be sent into shock. As a result, the little furballs had to be watched over very carefully. Fortunately, though, after the kittens were draped in damp towels, their body temperatures began to slowly decrease. It seemed then that the SVHS had reacted in the nick of time to save them from a very nasty fate. There was one further complication, however. The shelter had no room to take the little cats in. As a result, they were placed in the capable care of a foster home provided by Jan Wenger, and she was more than happy to take all the 9 tiny tuxedo kittens. "I knew I didn't want to split them up, so I took them all together," she told Fox 35 in July of 2017. "I brought them into my home last night when they were scared and dirty," Wenger added. "Our first plan of action was to give them a nice bath. I got them cleaned up, fed them, and got them ready for bed. After that, the kittens blossomed and their affectionate personalities began to come out. In addition, they were given individual monikers to mark the start of their new lives. Specifically, Morgan named them after the Little Rock Nine, the Black Arkansas students who famously smashed racial barriers by enrolling at an all-white school: Ernest, Elizabeth, Jefferson, Terrence, Carlotta, Minnie Jean, Gloria Ray, Thelma, and Melba. We're really grateful to everyone who's rallied behind them," Morgan would later say about the kittens, "because they were really just a few minutes away from expiring. unfortunately in a very, very excruciating and painful way. It really does take a village, she concluded. And fortunately, thanks to FVHS, the kitten's future looks bright. Since their story reached social media, meanwhile, the kittens have become known as the Tuxedo 9 and are thriving, as Morgan told media in July of 2017. All that remains then is to find them new homes, a process that Morgan has said has already begun. I hope you like this video. If so, please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to make sure you never miss a video from our channel.